Okay, I heard the number's 30-ish.
So you
Why?
need,
Because that's less than 35, right? And if it's less than 35, you do not have enough acid. If you do not have enough acid in your blood, and that's the only thing you know, right? Forget I said anything about pH, hyperventilation, alec, interns, nothing, right? All you know is somebody has a CO2 of 30. Is that one thing alone? What is that going to do to your blood? If your CO2 level in your blood, arterial blood gas, is 30, what is that one thing, that one fact, what's that going to predict your blood is going to look like?
below 30? Below?
30 or whatever, less than 35.
Yeah, so it's more basic alkalytic.
Okay, so you're going to say that is going to make your blood basic, or alkaline, right? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, let me write alkaline. Because that's what it's going to do. Okay, if that's all you know. Let's go ahead and throw a bicarb in there. What do I want to make my bicarb? What do I want to make my bicarb? I want to make it 32. Okay. Doesn't really matter what number I make it. Actually it does, but that's a Henderson-Hasselbalch equation, and we're not getting into that in this class. Okay. Because you can't actually calculate these things on what they should be. However, bicarb 32, we know that's more than 28. Therefore, it is outside of its normal range, right? And if the only thing I know is that my bicarb is 32, what does that make my blood look like? Okay, now I got a problem, don't I? Okay, now we just got very complicated. Does this happen in real life? Yeah, it does happen in real life. However, I don't want to do that to you guys, because I don't know who caused the problem looking at these numbers, right? I could figure it out because he's hyperventilating, and I could figure it out and say, yeah, that's a respiratory alkalosis, but based on these numbers, I don't know who caused the problem, okay? What I mean is, if I go ahead and erase this 32 in base, and I stick in 15, what's that going to do to my blood if that's the only thing I know? That's going to make my blood acidic because I have less base in my blood, right? Yes? Yep. Okay. Now, what we do is we look at these numbers and the words that I wrote, and I say, okay, my pH, 7.5, I know I have some kind of alkalosis, and then I'm like, well, who caused the problem? The one that matches the word alkalosis or base, right? Does that make sense? So I look at this and I go, okay, well, my CO2 says the same thing as my pH. Therefore, my CO2 is my respiratory system. Yes? Therefore, I must have a respiratory alkalosis. With me on that? Yeah, I can repeat that. The two things that are important in here is, again, I wrote down one by one on these three things, the pH, the CO2, the bicarb. I took them one by one at a time, as in if this was the only thing that existed I knew about, what would we predict it do to your blood, right? And pH, we know that in this case it's an alkalosis. CO2, in this case, you don't have enough CO2, and CO2 is acid. Therefore, I don't have enough acid in my blood, which means my blood would still be basic, okay? And since that matched the problem, and the problem was always the pH, whatever it says is right. So since my CO2 problem matched my pH problem, I can say that's what caused it, right? Something had to cause it. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's what caused it. And since CO2 is controlled by my respiratory system, I can say I have a respiratory alkalosis in this case. So where does that leave the whole little bicarb thing that's low, or less bicarb, not low, but less bicarb? that's actually giving us an acidic state in our blood. What's it trying to do? Compensate, make up for it, balance it out, put it in equilibrium, fix the problem, right? However you want to say that, we say compensate because that's what we chose to say, okay? So we are saying this bicarb, since it's doing the exact opposite of what the problem was, it must be trying to fix the problem or compensate. So now we say, we have in this case a compensated respiratory alkalosis. Okay, does that make sense? Now, this is it. This is everything about acid bases